far as we can in this game. And we're going to start out from the beginning because we have that power.
Yes, we do. We have the technology. We are sorry about that. Don't worry. It would not be an awesome LAN event without some sort of technical difficulties.
That's kind of the key factor we come out here. But blue camping this blue buff early. And red, I don't know if they saw them or what necessarily happened, but blue just came through here. Red with the late invade, following this up. And they're still hanging out.
Both of these level ones really scary, right? You've got that dark binding. Obviously Kuniv's not going to start with a bandage toss, but he's going to walk face first into a charm.
That's not good, and that's going to be first blood. And Kuniv actually ignited, running away. He actually might get out of this, chugging a health pot. And in the process, Shen almost gets a kill coming back. Evil Cookie very, very low. Evil Cookie will finally fall, and Tekkzy's actually going to flash out of this. He's going to be safe. Alley Cat is going to go down as well, and Antran picking up that kill. That's going to help him with this jungle as long as he gets some good help on this blue buff, because he is still pretty low. Still pretty low here.
Yeah, level 1 really strong for both teams, but they just had the positional advantage there, being able to camp that brush without having that sort of early knowledge that they might be invading.
Yeah, I don't quite know what happened, but it seems like maybe they were a little bit late because I don't know if they saw each other and then backed off. But definitely, if you're ever afraid of teams invading you, early wards at your buffs, whatever buff it seems to be. But it looks like they actually went and warded their red buff here, trying to protect a Mumu, and then blue knowing this invaded blue, and then just sprung their trap.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Pretty good play by them.
As a what I like to do against the Mumus is I like to force an invade on their blue and ward it, and then in the sense that he might come to our blue, and then I'll redirect my team there to maybe catch him, because they have to travel further. You get him out of position. Sometimes the entire team won't travel. Alternatively, the best thing to do is if you can't force that fight, we got DarkTerrorz.
Oh, DarkTerrorz getting caught out here by this combo.
Oh,
wombo combo.
Time. Coming off there, getting a full burst combo off. We'll have to flash there to pick up the kill.
So far, this is not looking good for the DarkTerrorz team. Coming out 3 kills down. Graves and a lot of the blue team actually got a lot of assists through that team fight too. So they have a lot of extra gold on top of the fact they just got that early kill in bottom lane. So looking like might be in a little bit of trouble here early, and that is a good start for Team Tekkzy. This is going to be actually an interesting matchup here. Again, Alley Cat having to play against these high elo opponents. I mean, Tekkzy, he's no scrub. He's actually a very good player and playing a very annoying champion as well. But Tekkzy's main contribution to his team is not going to actually be in the top lane and dealing with Cho'Gath trying to get her out of lane necessarily. It's mainly going to be going to the other places on the map, snowballing bottom lane, helping out ganks in mid.
Snowballing that lane that's already snowballing.
Yeah, jumping on to the Lee Sin as he flies in with his kick. It's going to be pretty scary, but one thing that we have seen from DarkTerrorz team, even though they're down, is they actually had great crisis management against Team Kabam, which is one of the keys. If you ever want to win tournaments, especially stuff like Judgment, there are times we're going to have to play from behind it. Unfortunately, you don't get to snowball every single game.
Correct.
If they can just basically stick with it, they have a strong team comp, they have a good AoE comp, they can still win some team fights as long as they stick to their guns and don't get too far behind as we get farther on along in this game.
And I want to say, right now, we're not going to see, this bot lane is going to be a lot of trouble right now. If we take a look, Graves already has 2 Dorn's Blades. He's still sitting on pots. That's really brutal.
Yeah, shout out to Intimate Bedtime and Sky King. 2 people that, that is a very strong thing to have. Actually, they've decided to duo queue for this tournament. And so they're actually, the duo queues are actually going against each other. We have Evil Cookie and DarkTerrorz, they duo queued for this. With a pretty good high average elo. Intimate Bedtime and Sky King coming down from Canada. They're duo queuing, so we have 2 duo queues in the bottom lane, which is actually kind of interesting to see. And Sky King being really aggressive here. The burst coming in.
Oh, is not going to be enough?
Yes. But they're actually putting a lot of pressure on them. That's what they need to do, because DarkTerrorz is not going to be able to farm very easily from this point on, just based on how much damage is taken and how much is going on. Tekkzy's top lane doing a little bit of zoning actually here on Alley Cat, but Alley Cat doesn't want to get too deep. One of the things is you get too deep in there, you try to go to last hit anyways, you actually put yourself up for a possible gank. A lot of pings coming down on middle. Looks like Kudiv might be trying to set up on Hwinster, but Hwinster actually had a ward up there, so he should know this is going down. Charm's going to land. Dark Bindings is going to land, but that would just be bait if they decide to follow it up. And Alley Cat actually trading with Tekkzy in the top lane. I don't think he's going to be able to get her. Meanwhile, Wooly Nega and Kudiv being backed off here by Antran. It's actually kind of interesting to see, too, because Antran a lot of time he was originally playing ranked, and I knew him for he was an AP mid player, and Winster was a jungle player. Instead, this tournament, come to find out after a little bit of time, it's a little bit of solo queue grinding. They've actually switched roles here.
Yeah,
and we see
and
Antran.
actually real solid Blitzcrank player.
Yes.
Was hanging around 2K for a little bit. I remember he was one of those players where I'm like, whoa, Antran's 2K? Wow, this guy's actually playing really well. And his Blitzcrank is just sick. And I think right now, though, they need him to be more of a carry role and less support, especially when you have that duo queue in the bot lane that's going to, be there and be safe. So he's going to support that bot lane by being in the jungler and really helping those that mid and top lane snowball, which is what we're seeing right now.
Well, his duo queue might be the fact that he is actually a duo queue player with Winster. So what we might see is actually them two linking up, seeing a lot of ganks coming in on the mid lane and actually trying to snowball that really, really hard. And that's one thing that Antran's known for. Maybe one of his weaknesses is he wants to play a character like Lee Sin's like the perfect character for him in the jungle because he wants to kill people. He's one of those players that really wants to kill. We're probably going to see him dive some turrets, be really, really overly aggressive. But he's this kind of player, headhunter player you want. And now it looks like he might be coming on an Alley Cat here, who she's actually pushed up her lane. She's trying to back off. Blind Sonic Wave is not going to land. Teleport actually coming in. She's going to be able to get us, and the taunt just barely misses. The technology realized she was in trouble, teleports to mid lane to get out of dodge.
Crisis management.
And maybe that's why Longley and Claymore couldn't catch her. That was dirty. I like it.
I mean, I like that play there. I mean, definitely in a lot of trouble. Was able to get out of there. And, this... it's unfortunate. You did have to get, but didn't lose any creeps to the the turret wave or anything. So definitely.
Yeah, I mean, pushed up her lane, so it was a smart play.
Probably should have teleported to a turret closer to base. Maybe could have gone back.
Maybe to
a ward.
Yeah, or maybe just to jump back to her top turret would have been good as well. But so DarkTerrorz checking him out. He's at 32 CS. Yeah, it looks like Alley Cat's fine. The 32 CS, and Graves, we're rocking 55, so you got 20 CS disadvantage. I'm sure DarkTerrorz isn't too happy with that, but DarkTerrorz is a pretty calm and collected guy, and one of the things I know from the other judgments whenever he was successful is that his team was just really safe, really patient. He's able to keep his team kind of in that mode. So, and that's exactly what they're going to need. They're going to have a little bit of patience here and pick their shots because the blue team, they're going to be really high. We know they're going to be hyper aggressive. They're going to be jumping around the map trying to snowball this advantage.
We've got an invade here, but Amumu was able to get to that blue buff. They were able to do it quick enough, and I really like what they did there. They actually donated that blue buff to Amumu, who's a little far behind. Or sorry, not so much far behind, but he's behind in comparison to Lee Sin. So what's going to happen is he's going to hit 6. He's going to be really quick to hit 6, and then we're probably seeing a gank mid or top.
Antran being aggressive as he can.
And poor Alley Cat is eating every one of those shadow dances. She's going to get taunted, and she's just losing out on exchanges.
Well, I mean, really,
Tekkzy just being a bully.
Well, I mean, really, what it comes down to, it's it's not the damage that's actually doing a lot of the trouble to her. It's mainly the fact that she's getting zoned out of some of the experience because she can't quite go in there and be safe. And Tekkzy just making sure that she can't get as much CS as possible. Because Cho'Gath actually has a lot of sustain with killing the minions, gets health back, has a lot of AoE clear abilities, and so we see her right there: Rupture, run in, Feral Scream. And then just come in there and just try to get that AoE damage down, try to get as much CS as possible. Tekkzy doing his best to try to stop her from that, eating some turret shots even here. And the Dragon will go down to the blue team. Great pickup by them.
Yeah, that early peak ward advantage, being able to clear out those wards. And we are going to see... This is a great time for a moment to come in. Tekkzy has been really aggressive with those shadow taunt, or with that taunt. And unfortunately, they didn't wait for him to bait it out. So
Rupture's not going to be there. And yeah, he should be able to get out of this unless the ult coming in, eating a lot of damage, and there's the flash after, and yes, he is going to escape. Good play by Tekkzy there, very, very patient. If they would have held on to that Rupture a little bit longer, probably might have had something in the works possibly there. Yeah, and also that Feral Scream too, because you can get a silence in there. He has no way to get out of that. But you really got to stack that CC.
Yeah, the big problem was that Feast was on cooldown, and so they lost a lot of that kill potential. I mean, that's 300 true damage. Or sorry, I think maybe Cho'Gath's damage is AP. Or I know true damage to minions.
No, it's a strong ability, and it had a lot of burst damage there. But I still think if they would have held the Rupture and the silence, there still would have been enough damage there to probably actually pick up Tekkzy, regardless Feast or not. And Feast definitely would have sealed the deal. I think that would have been a for sure kill. So a little bit more patience on the ganks. let Amumu with his stun set up, and there's a lot of burst damage flying at DarkTerrorz face. Following up Evil Cookie Ignite actually going down on DarkTerrorz. DarkTerrorz getting out, and there's just like the nice zoning ability of Absolute Zero, because that's really what Absolute Zero is used in these days. It's not so much, you know, the old trick where you hide in a bush and everybody runs into it. That's nice. Doesn't happen a lot against really focused teams. So really what it is more in a team fight, or in that case a chasing scenario. Evil Cookie says, all right, well, if you're going to come into this and take this and pursue longer, you're going to take a ton of damage. Or in a team fight, say, you don't go in this bubble, otherwise you're going to take a ton of damage. You're going to have to play around this bubble, and it can actually mess up a lot of teams in team fights, and that's more what we see from a Mumu or a Nunu these days.
So, you know, had he had his ult, they might have been able to make a play down on bot, but right now it's just nothing's lining up correctly. You know, Amumu had to use his ult top. Right now I would be scared of Tekkzy. You know, at any point in this game, Tekkzy can get out of lane and really turn what might be a favorable situation into a really bad situation. And that's kind of what's the scary. It's really scary for the red team right now, because they're really looking to make a play. They know they're falling behind. They're losing on CS. They're down on kills. They don't have that dragon. And you know, right now, blue team has to do nothing. They can just sit back, push, and you know, in Texas' case, be a bully. But you know, eventually they're going to win this game. So Amumu has been really struggling. You know, we see him making.
Oh, you know, and Tran coming in here, and they have so many minions actually putting damage on them too. There's the flash out. Alleycat cannot be yanked up top. And one thing I was actually possibly going to be worried about is if they lost that turret. But hold on, DarkTerrorz losing about half his health already. He does not have flash. Trying to get out of this, and he is just barely going to make it. And Evil Cookie going to make it out too. Just throwing a snowball just because. That's going to be more free, unharassed farm for Intimate Bedtime.
Yeah, this, you know, with DarkTerrorz being behind so early, he's getting zoned out, and it's not really. And somehow directed camera failed us.
But possibly a kill in here. Great dash, actually, Spirit Rush there by Winster. Might get out of this, get out of the dark binding, and she will survive. But I think we can actually head back here and see what possibly happened to Alleycat. And it might have been, that Sonic Wave landing. Yes, that is the cue. And they're going to go in there and do work on her. Unfortunate. Tekkzy just picking off barely at the end. And Antran so close. So close to going down. And as we saw, Winster with the great dashes to get out of dodge. And that could have gotten really bad, too, because Winster started dashing, too. And whenever you get near walls or anything like that and you're trying to dash over, we've seen so many failed dashes.
Oh, absolutely.
So many just like wah moments. But this is the thing to be worried about. If Tekkzy actually takes this, I mean, he's zoning her out, so part of it, the conventional wisdom is you don't take the turret, you deny CS from your opponent. The other thing, too, is like if Tekkzy kills that turret and he actually gets the green light to be like, hey, the best thing for you to do is actually push up this lane, but then just roam around and start snowballing the other lanes, like it's really scary, because then he's actually going to be more focused on that instead of just dealing with his top lane and keeping that advantage.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say before was that, you know, DarkTerrorz having that you know, giving up that advantage so early, that especially just the item, meaning that it's just a really simple Terric stun. You see a quick draw from Graves and a buckshot, and that's like putting him at half health. And it's like there's nothing you can do. You can't exchange. Even if you take the snowball blast from Nunu and the attack speed reduction from Ezreal's Essence Flux, it's like it still doesn't matter. Even if he's changing 2 auto attacks for a 1, it's just he's already at half health. And that's just that burst caster that is Graves putting out so much damage.
Yeah, and some great teamwork right there, collapsing on the blue buff, taking it, giving it to Winster. And really just a lot of great control coming in here from the blue team, from Team Tekkzy. Just great coordination. And this team is just playing absolutely lights out, and it's no surprise to me, actually, that they were able to make it through here to the finals.
So, for those that don't know, we have new technology in the spectator mode that lets you adjust characters. So, we got the supports on top. If we take a look at CS after this exchange of meat tanks going against each other, you know, right now Nunu coming away. He's got 7
they're possibly
CS.
thinking about a tower dive here, and there it is. Antran coming in from the back, getting his face blown off. That denial is not going to work because Graves is so tanky. He has the entire cavalry there. Tekkzy coming down as well, and they have decided, they have flicked the switch. They're like, we are going to start taking these turrets. Alleycat trying to come in to help, but it's not going to do any good. 1v5 not going to help out here. They're going to take this turret and more if they want. Sure, Dragon actually is probably coming up pretty soon here, so they're going to actually be looking to take that soon as well. But good timing, good coordination, and I like the way this team's been playing. 7-0, they're looking very strong. It's a team that actually played very well throughout the semifinals. Chop Rush coming in here, Intimate Bedtime, still not dodging it.
We should see a Dark Binding on either Antran, but it did not go down. So right now, red team, they know they're behind, right? It doesn't take a math wizard or a Harvard degree to realize that when you're down 7-0 and they're gonna pick off a dragon that you need anything right now.
The second dragon.
A dignity turret would feel great right about now.
Amumu's trying his best, headbutting that thing, King to Khan.
And so
or possibly
a 2v3 here at Dragon, and this is actually an opportunity for them to. Oh, Dragon will fall to the blue team.
Oh, here we go. This is actually looking really, really good for the red team so far, except for they're going to have to start beating feet. Tekkzy getting in on this now as well. And DarkTerrorz needs to be careful, doesn't want to go down. Black Shield going on him. Evil Cookie not looking good for that guy right now. Wollenega trying to do damage, but it's not going to be enough. Safeguard coming in, and Alley Cat and Kunev actually decided to take this top turret. And I think, red team, unless they were all there, really didn't have a lot of business being there. Oh! Collateral damage, picking it up for Graves. Doing work.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Everybody knows Highwind's favorite way for a champion to die is Graves
blowing up their
face.
And that was the long-range version of To the Face.
So, good news here for the red team. Got their dignity kill. Right now, I can tell you that everybody wants to report Tarek for feeding if you're on the blue team. And they've also got their dignity turret. So not all is lost in this game. All hope, for example, is not lost.
Well, I mean, the good news is that even if you lose this game here at EOS, you're still going to get $15 in riot points plus some cash. And then you're also going to... These teams have also already qualified for the captain's draft tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they have even more chances, actually, more RP, more prizes, stuff like that.
A lot of these players are going to be playing in our next Judgment,
Yep.
These guys actually might be sick of League of Legends by the end of the day.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of League of Legends. We're going to take a little bit of break after this, but for right now, we'll start the 5v5s, which have some really crazy teams coming up here, which I'm actually really excited for. We have, the team Northwest, the Kabam team coming in, and then we also have, a couple teams coming down from Canada. So we have in the old VVV Guard as well as the GGI Scriffle team. So should be really, really exciting. And Antran actually getting caught out a little bit here. Dark Binding is going to miss, though, and he's actually going to get some help coming in.
But
as Tekkzy, the juke back, the soul shot going off, but just not quite fed enough. The flash out might be good. It's not going to be good. Spirit Rush too strong. Winster had him aside. Antran is going to get ulted by Tekkzy and just denied at every turn. Alley Cat running up and around, going to miss the train. You'll see him head over the wards. And Red Team trying to cross. Oh, True Shot Barrage coming in! Oh, it does land! DarkTerrorz getting one in there with a great True Shot Barrage and turning around on Kunev. Tekkzy getting silenced, but he's just so tanky at this point. Absolute Zero's probably going to go off, but it probably wouldn't be enough. Unless they're able to get another slow onto him. And they can't quite do Tekkzy. Trying to dodge that Banish Toss, but Banish Toss does land. Absolute Zero's going to cancel it early. And the feast! Alley Cat feasting on the Tekkzy. She's been staring at him all day in that top lane, licking her chops, and finally she gets to take a bite out of him.
So, right now, Red Team's Rope It Up plan coming to fruition.
Ooh, Evil Cookie. That's a lot of CC. That's a lot of damage. Stun Charm, not survivable.
Probably not the path he wanted to go. Split off a little bit early from the team. But that's okay.
The good news, at least, is that he didn't have an Oracles or anything like that. But we do see Sky King running here for the Oracles, which is going to be a problem for the red team because they're going to start losing map control. Alley Cat trying to do her best hotshot GG impression, sitting up in that top lane for as long as possible. Looks like she's going to go back and buy now, though.
And Antran has the enemy blue buff timer absolutely memorized.
Maybe he downloaded the Android app for his phone. Hit it up.
One of the things the red team's going to want to do to get back in this game is going to pick up an Oracle. And, right now they have no map control. They know they're being invaded. So it's...
And what's also fun, let's look at the blue team's wards. The entire enemy jungle lit up like a Christmas tree. Red's vision. A little bit of the entrances of their top jungle, and that's it. So blue team right now just firing on all cylinders. I mean, this is a really solid play. Like this team, if it didn't have members comprising of any of the pre-base, should probably just hop in and give it a go.
And we actually have Tekkzy going to be playing for Team Gameplex,
Yep.
Winter and Antran playing for Team Tekken 2, meaning they're not going to be in the FISE event because they're going to be playing Tekken 2, Tekken Tag 2.
Yeah, a little that fight game action
So
that we talked about
kind of
earlier.
hope, we got crossovers here. We got League of Legends players. We got fighting game community playing here. I was talking to Air. For those that don't know who Air is,
Yep.
he's a well-known Ryu player from Canada. Uh-oh. Nice all from Kuniv. We're going to see a follow-up by Nega, but he's just strong enough to survive all this damage.
And this is the main problem with AoE comps, is they're really good if you can stay even, especially if you're ahead. But when you're behind, you just don't do enough damage. So what looks really, really good to your eyes and on paper after all the CC goes off doesn't look great after you realize that all your ults have been blown and they're still like 3/4 health and they're blowing you up in response.
Yeah, it also works well if you guys, if you are playing an AoE comp. That means you hope to get through the laning phase, but it's that mid to late game where you want to really, actually group up. And this is definitely where that, obviously, the blue team is snowballing.
Yes.
Cookie just gonna go ahead and
Antran tried to get in there, flash out the last second. Getting out of that dragon kick that was definitely going to come in there. Alley Cat's coming now. Wants to land the rupture, but Sky King's going to flash out of it. Great reaction by him. Winster juking up a little bit to get a little bit of true damage on Alley Cat, but I don't know if it's going to match her. Flash coming from Antran and a safeguard to Winster. Trying to deal as much damage as they can. Alley Cat not really the target the blue team wants to focus on. Sky King might be in a little bit of trouble now.
Yeah.
Does get feasted on, but oh, poor Alley Cat is going to die in the process. If they have any more CC for these guys, it is a free kill for them. And they're going to be able to keep up this push constantly if they really, really want to.
Well, I was cheering for that Shogath because, red team being so far behind, we always like to see a good match here. We like to root for the underdogs. But, also picking up an Oracle, so totally with it. And Winster are going to eat quite a few turret shots. Antran going to eat one. I mean, it's
not
right
cotton
now.
candy. I mean, it might look like cotton candy flying at your face.
Oh!
But it doesn't taste
the
delicious.
Two-shot barrage, not enough to take out Ari.
Yeah, Winster doing a little zigging and zagging.
So we're going to definitely see Dragon go down to the blue team. They were just like, hey, there's a bunch of creeps ball. Oh, hey, there's a really big creep on our way.
Yeah, and they've had all the jungle timers actually pretty well timed out, pretty much flawlessly, and they've been able to pick up every dragon buff, every objective just about here so far. As looking here, the only thing the red team really has their
DarkTerrorz
name.
in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Tekkzy's on the hump, but he doesn't quite have any more CC to follow it up with. He's not going to pull it out. But red team really only now they have that top turret. It's kind of the only thing they have to their name so far, at least is that global team gold type of thing. I mean, just to see what blue team does, because they've been kind of pushing on mid. Didn't quite work out. They have 2 turrets down on bottom. I imagine they're going to head up top at some point. I mean, it's pretty safe to push top because you're still around the Baron area. And I mean, I would like to see them also ward back up because they're actually... now that their wards are done, they had all that great vision earlier, and they really need to try to keep that up. Another thing they could possibly do if they really want to, they are pretty far ahead. They could actually split Tekkzy off and start a little split pushing action. Their 4 is still pretty strong, and you can still have Tekkzy come in at any point. So if they can split people off, especially if they can have Tekkzy go bottom or something like that, press that lane, which actually is a high priority lane because you're already missing 2 turrets. They're going to have to send someone down there to deal with the waves, and then you can actually come in on Baron or top lane and support as necessary. But we have DarkTerrorz, the evil cookie, making a mad dash there. Maybe they were trying to bait out possibly a Baron reaction, just be ready for it. But now they're going to try to back off out of this. Intimate bedtime. He wants every part of the evil cookie. It is delicious.
Oh, good night, Nunu.
Yes. Evil cookie, no escape.
Red buff doing work there. Got the slow. There was no hope for evil cookie on Nunu.
Now, Sky King did lose his oracles when it was eaten so deliciously by Alley Cat. So they do not actually have that advantage anymore onto their team. I'd like to see Alley Cat actually pick up an oracles possibly for her team. She is very, very tanky, and can probably be actually the safest person at this point to actually sport one for her team.
Yeah, and right now the biggest issue for the red team is they do no damage.
Yep.
You've got Amumu who's building tanky. He's got Aegis. He's got a Giant's Belt. You've got Cho'Gath with parts of a Frozen Heart, parts of a Force of Nature, and and a Heart of Gold. So there's really not a lot of, there's no damage coming out from either one of those players. And then unfortunately, Morgana's been so far behind in this game, just getting picked on, even though she's only died 3 times, but she's only sitting on a needlessly large rod, so not going to be pulling out a lot of damage that you expect, and she's just getting burst down quickly before her Soul Shackles can really finish and complete.
Yeah, and actually, Antron coming up here and scaring Alleycat back away from her turret.
That double buff, good quick draw away from the Rupture. And
Banish Toss missing. They
probably a good miss. If he'd have picked that miss, he'd have been dead. I guarantee it.
Do not want. But they still haven't actually killed that top turret. Like they're past the enemy. They're in their jungle, but they actually haven't finally put the finishing touches on it. Sky King getting really aggressive here, but doesn't actually have any backup. He's just like, here I come. All right, I'm out of here because I deal no damage. And the rest of the red team collapsing in on them. Antran is going to get picked off a little bit. Actually dashes back into the enemy team. Dragon Kick trying to pick up as many people as possible. Blue team trying to make it in as soon as they can. Absolutely, they're going to go out. Sky King very, very low. Now we have a 3v5, but the rest of the red team is pretty low. Amumu saving us all very, very smartly. Actually going to catch a lot of members of the enemy team. Will be able to pick up. They are able to pick off Intimate Bedtime. And now DarkTerrorz with the double buff. And I actually like this look right now for the red team if they can get someone else in here. But DarkTerrorz has been left all alone, and he's going to get ganged up on, and now here comes Tekkzy's out to Woodster, protecting him, and blue team, able to pull off with that pretty well, actually, for their team. Alleycat making out there with a sliver of life. Evil Cookie's running because he's a scaredy cat.
Yeah, definitely, a 3v3, but I think overall winner of that was the blue team.
Yeah.
They've continued their dominant of map control here, and there's really the red team they can't quite, even though they won that fight at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
They had a 5v2. They were able to pick off those 2 kills, but it wasn't quick enough, and they blew a lot of their their ults.
Yeah. So Sky King, the lone defender in the middle lane, while the rest of his team's coming out here. They're going to buy up, get a lot of gold underneath their belt, get a lot of those items with their advantage we can. And even just looking at Graves, he has Infinity Edge, his Phantom Next. It's a good look for him. DarkTerrorz, on the other hand, he's gone Bloodthirster. He's still working on, he has a Zeal in there. But he's really just kind of behind. Infinity Edge, a lot better damage item than a Bloodthirster. But, he went Bloodthirster because it's cheaper. It's better sustained in lane. Just trying to find something in there to try to even out the tides. But really, damage-wise, he's so far behind Graves. If Graves is able to be protected, they have a really good look here.
Antran going in for those raids, going to get caught out again, and we're going to see a team fight go down that's not going to be in favor of the red team. Tekkzy's just going there. He's going to need a lot of turret hits. Not really going to matter. Ali going to get picked up.
Yeah, this is pretty much cleanup mode for blue team.
Yeah,
they can actually press in here, especially that they actually started to pick off people.
Momo's going to want to come in here, but you can tell he wants to always I see 4, I see 5, I can ult them all. But
yeah, he actually doesn't have his ult yet. He's actually waiting a couple seconds on it still. Just a sliver off. Now it is up. Dark Binding coming in, just barely missing.
Yeah, I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of pressure on this turret, but, I think the red team is going to be in a lot of trouble here.
Well, I mean, really, it's just if blue team can actually get a hold of them, finish it off, and wipe them, it's pretty much going to be lights out.
Shogun's going to be up here in about 5 seconds, but she will not be able to get in here as they're going to put quite a bit of damage here on this turret.
Yeah, I mean, they used True Shot Barrage. They used a lot of their clearing power.
Tekkzy going in, going to hit that
Evil
top.
Cookie going to get picked off. Walnut is committed now with the Soul Shackle, trying to get there, trying to get as much damage as possible. Kuniv not going to be able to extract himself from this situation. Antran actually safeguarding himself. Oh! Just barely not killing him with the Graves ult. And Alleycat just too deep now, getting focused down by the rest of the Fives team. Charmed back. Double kill for Winster. And now they're going to be able to push on this turret for sure and clear this out. There's nothing else for the red team to clear this out. They have really good advantage here. Should be able to take this inhibitor and keep pressing home.
Yeah,
a lot of members down as well.
The worst thing that's going to happen here is if Morgana gets out, if she comes out here, maybe tries to throw a Soul Shackle, gets picked off. Could be the end of the game right there, but it looks like they're going to back off. It looks like they're probably going to rotate top or towards Baron. They're going to find a Dread buff, possibly for free, but I think
they don't even care about red buffs.
I think they've called for
Tekkzy's
the Baron.
called the
Look at all
Baron.
these gap closed. There's screw the walking around. We're just going to cut over jump over some walls.
All right, I'm sure if Winster had his ult, he would have dashed over.
He just gone over. He's like, what is?
I'm sure if Sky King had his flash. Does he have his flash? Yeah, he does have his flash. He should have flashed over.
Flashed over.
Clearly a play mistake by Sky King right there. Oh, DarkTerrorz.
DarkTerrorz. Oh,
no. Wow. On the chase, like, please.
Probably going to see.
He's like, that turret's still up? I didn't know that turret was still up. That is unfortunate.
So, 4 Pulse Fires are always going to go down here, and I think this is the march. I think they're going to march right down mid. Cho'Gath, Nunu, Amumu, not going to be enough to stop this. They've got Baron buff. They have a lot of sustain. They've got super minions.
Yeah, I mean, they got the item advantage, the Baron buff, and just everything rolling for them right now. Red team going to have a pretty big miracle happen for them. Maybe a lot of turret diving. Here we go. Evil Cookie popping up the absolutes there. I don't even know if that's going to be able to deal enough damage.
Oh,
Dragon kicked out. Wallenega almost put down to 0 right away. Hourglasses just to stay alive for 2 more seconds. And blue team just really has to sustain just sitting here. Close out. Finish it off.
And I like that. Sky King going positive here. 3 kills for
Could have
Terrorz.
tried to make something happen right now underneath the turret. Trying to pick off a kill, but they still haven't been able to pick off anyone yet. Evil Cookie get in there. Not going to do anything. Alley Cat flashing out. And Ant Tran just not dying.
Ladies and
So
gentlemen,
low.
our Judgment Pool 1 winners, Team Tekkzy, taking it down here. These guys are going to win some money. They're going to win some RP. But you know what? Our second place team also going to walk away with some cash and going to walk away with some RP. So congratulations, both teams here in our finals.
Woo!
And cheers going down. GG. Good guys, guys. Wow. Highway a little tired. Casting not so strong.